this is another wonderful, astonishing sight. A drought uncovers Spanish Stonehenge hidden underwater for decades. And it's a beautiful place right near the sea. I had seen parts of it peeking out from the waters before, but this is the first time I've ever seen it in full. C. McCambley, Collectus Park, reports severe change in weather, particularly across Europe, and this has been a curse for farmers whose crops are suffering and who are losing millions of euros because of this. But for archaeologists, these severe changes sometimes help them gain access to relics that were previously out of reach. And we could take Spain's 7,000-year-old dolmen de Guadalperal, a megalithic monument made up of 144 standing stones, some up to 6 feet tall. They were arranged in a circular open space. Located in the province of Caqueras, this previously underwater monument has now been completely exposed following the harsh drought that has hit the area. Often referred to as a Spanish Stonehenge, thanks to certain similarities with the original in England, this structure has now appeared for the first time in 50 years. Angel Castano, president of the local cultural association, as quoted in Atlas Obscura, says, "I had seen parts of it peeking out from the water before, but this is the first time I've seen it in full. It's spectacular because you can appreciate the entire complex for the first time in decades." As a resident of Peraleda de la Mata, a village just a couple of miles from the dolmen's location, Castaño has been familiar with the ancient structure all his life, and yet this is the first time he has been able to truly appreciate its magnificence. The dolmen de Guadalperal was not always submerged underwater. As we can see, it's right on the coast. The area around Caqueras was still dry when the monument was first uncovered by German archaeologist Hugo Obermeier, who led an excavation to the site in the mid-1920s. It was not until 4 decades later that Obermeier's paper about this ancient structure was fully published. The archaeological site, for most part, remained undisturbed until the Spanish government wanted to build a dam and a reservoir right around it. Construction of the Valdecañas Reservoir flooded the area and submerged the historical stones in water in 1963. If water were to drown an entire archaeological site today, there would most certainly be an immediate backlash from historians and researchers, which is currently happening in the soon-to-be flooded historical site of Hasenkef. Back then, the dolmen's flooding was simply accepted. Primitiva Bueno Ramirez, a specialist in prehistory of the University of Alcalá, explained that the importance of archaeological studies back then were not as appreciated as they are today, and there was no standard practice for creating environmental reports before such a massive project was greenlit. Ramirez said, "You could not believe how many authentic archaeological and historic gems are submerged under Spain's man-made lakes." The re-emergence of the dolmen de Guadalperal has no doubt excited archaeologists who believe that the stones in the structure were transported from 3 miles away on the banks of the Tagus River, the longest waterway in the Iberian Peninsula, sometime in the 5th millennium BC. That's 7,000 years ago, 5,000 BC. 7,000 years ago. It was meant as a burial place and a temple to worship the sun. Scientists believe that, though its current shape appears to be that of an open-air, unfinished circle, the monument was once entirely enclosed, complete with a roof on top. And according to Ramirez, people would have entered through the narrow hallway adorned with engravings and other decorations to access the original structure. The hallway would lead into a more spacious main chamber that was 16 feet across, where their dead were likely kept. He also said that this is likely the monument was oriented around the summer solstice, allowing the sun to shine upon the community's buried ancestors. Now that the dolmen de Guadalperal has resurfaced, Castaño and his organization are hoping to get the monument permanently moved to a higher, drier place so that the structure does not suffer more damage to its already eroding surface. At its current location, the dolmen stands just a few dozen yards away from the man-made lake This time is of the essence, as the drought is suspected to be temporary, meaning that the ancient structure could get drowned again in a couple of months. So whatever we do here needs to be done extremely carefully, Ramirez said. We need high-quality studies using the latest archaeological technology. It may cost money, but we already have one of the most difficult things to obtain, this incredible historical monument. In the end, money is the easy part. The past cannot be bought. Now, this is Drought uncovers Spanish Stonehenge hidden underwater for decades, was originally created for all that interesting, and is published here under Creative Commons on Collective Spark, and it's by Steve McCamley. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.